Hey guys, it's Brittany here. So now we are going to look at the Windows 10 settings. To go to your settings, you want to go over to your flag and then go to settings. So here are your settings right here. So we have system, devices, network and internet, personalization, accounts, update and security, privacy, ease of access, time and language. The system. So the system is basically all of your settings for your screen, your battery saver, here's one, tablet mode, which you can set settings for that, multitasking, different settings for the multitasking, not something that I personally use that much, but apps and features, notifications and actions. Let's see here, all those. The display one is basically for like what kind of display you want to see on your computer, I guess you can say. For like if you want to do landscape, portrait, you can flip it, the brightness level. So that's pretty much the system ones. The about, this is where you're going to find all of your information for your computer. Okay, so the devices. The devices is where you're going to see your printers, any Bluetooth connected devices that you have. Here's your connected devices. You have your mouse and touchpad settings. This is where you want to set your settings for like the delay and things like that. There's also other mouse options, which this is more in depth. So you can go through this, kind of decide what you want, how you want your mouse to work. The typing, this is, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. There's not really much to it. It's just what you want on and what you want off. It's really what it is. You can kind of go through that. And then your autoplay, which this isn't something that I use either. Network and internet, this is Wi-Fi, which is menu settings for your Wi-Fi. Advanced options right here. Not really something I use either. Well, when I'm at home, I should say. I just kind of connect. All of this right here, everything that I've ever connected to, I guess you can say. Airplane mode, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's either off or on. Data usage. The VPN, if you need to use a VPN, this is where you're going to add the connection. Dial-up, Ethernet, which I don't personally use Ethernet, and your proxy. This is all of your proxy settings right here. The personalization is something that a lot of people use more often than any other setting. This is where you can change the background of your computer right here. Pick what you want. And fill, that's going to be your background. Then you have your colors. Your colors are right here. This is where you can pick like the color that you want everything to be. The lock screen right here. Pick your lock screen. You have your themes if you want to change the theme settings. There's all the themes right here. The start, if you want to change your start to look like something different. So the personalization is pretty much the setting that you're probably going to use a lot more often, just because that's where you're going to change your background or change the color scheme or something like that. The accounts is probably something you're going to use also. This is where you're going to manage everything. You have your sign in options. This is where you can pick what, how you want to sign into your computer. The work access. This is where you can add another person right here if you want to add a guest account or something. And then syncing your settings. So one thing that is cool about having a Microsoft account is when you sign in on a computer, your settings will sync up. So you'll have everything on that computer every time you sign in. You won't have your files, but you will have your settings. Okay, so time and language, this one's pretty self-explanatory too. This is where you're going to change all of your time settings and stuff like that. Now, if you want to get specifics, let's say that it's not 6:40 p.m., you want to go to the additional date and time, which is like the old way of doing it, and then set the time and date, and this is where you want to go. So there are some areas in the settings where you're going to have to go to something different or a more lengthy process to get to what you want to do. Region and language, this is where you can change all that stuff. The speech, text to speech if you want that, the microphone, all kinds of stuff like that. Normally I don't use that unless my time is off or something. Ease of access, so if you guys want to use the narrator system, this is where you're going to want to turn it on and kind of mess with. The magnifier to make anything larger. High contrast, not something I use, but you can use it if you want. Here's all of your closed captions. Again, not really something I use. I just let it set to all the default settings. The keyboard, if you want to use sticky keys or any special keys, this is where you're going to find those settings. The mouse, if you want to change your mouse, change the look of it. But again, that's just like how we went through the other mouse settings. This is just another way of getting there, I guess. And then you have other options, and this is like another like area to change different things. Again, not really something I use. Privacy would be a big one. This one is kind of like where you can change all of your privacy settings. A lot of people will use it for like their camera, so if you don't want your camera on or you don't want your apps to use your camera, this is where you're going to turn it off. The microphone, same thing. This one, same thing. Any of the account info, if you don't want apps accessing your account info. So this is pretty much just saying I don't want apps using certain things or certain information that I have that's located on my computer or that I've signed into. So this is something that if you're worried about the privacy part of it, that's where you're going to go. The update and security is actually a very important one. Even though Windows 10 does update for you, you still, like we have here, I have updates and it's wanting me to restart, actually. And I have a really big update that I need to do. But this is where you're going to find all of your Windows updates. If you think that your computer is running a little bit off, this is where you're going to go. You want to run the updates, just kind of like what I did. And then if you get this screen, you want to restart your computer. About every second Tuesday of the month, Microsoft will send out updates. So you want to kind of restart your computer every so often or just check Windows updates every so often. This is the Windows Defender. So if you want to have Windows Defender on, I do have it on. I actually use Windows Defender instead of all the other antiviruses. The backup, I have not made a backup, which I need to make a backup. You do want to have a backup. Windows 10 does not have restore points, really, so you want to have, they're not made by the computer, so you want to manually make those. The recovery, this is where if you don't like Windows 10 or if you're having issues with Windows 10, you're going to do the reset. So the reset, I'm just going to kind of show you what it is. Not actually going to do it. But this is, you have the keep my files, remove everything, or restore to factory settings. So if you wanted to just do like Windows 10 version of a restore point, you're going to do the keep my files. This is going to refresh your computer, take off any applications that are on the computer that are not factory, and then you'll just have to reinstall them as well as the updates. Removing everything is literally removing everything. It's going to pretty much be like you're recycling your computer. Restore to factory settings, this one is just going to like the first day you got your computer. Alright, and then the activation, this is in case your Windows key is incorrect or if you wanted to upgrade to the Windows 10 Pro version. And for the developers, I personally don't use, but this, if you know that you have to use it, here's the settings for it. That's how you get to it. Let's say if you need to get to your control panel, you can either go through your settings option or you can go down to Cortana's box. Either way, I usually use Cortana's box and I just type in control panel. Here's your control panel. Control panel is the same exact thing as it was for every operating system that it's been on. It's just cleaner version. The control panel and the settings option, they're pretty much the same, but the control panel will obviously have a little bit more on it. So it's pretty much the same thing as what it's been for years, is right here. Another way you can check your updates is going to System and Security, and then you want to locate check updates, which I'm not seeing it over here. Normally the check for updates is actually right in this general area, but I'm not seeing it. But you can go that route if you know that route better than the other way. Normally I just go through the check for updates in the settings. Then you have your network and internet, your user accounts, appearance. So these are all different ways that you can, change your settings. The settings option, like the one that I pulled up in the control panel, I feel that they're a little redundant. But the control panel will have, like, if you want to uninstall a program, which is going to be under programs, and then you can choose what you want to do with that. Other than that, that's pretty much the settings part of Windows 10. I will be going on and talking about Microsoft Edge, which is a really cool application that Microsoft is using. They're trying to push Microsoft Edge more than Windows, than their Internet Explorer. So it's going to be pretty much a newer version of Internet Explorer. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Take it slow.